If you are headed to Disney World, one thing is for sure, you're gonna have to prepare for those rainy days. And especially if you're going during the summertime and during hurricane season, that can happen almost every day, like clockwork, in the afternoon. But don't worry, these rainstorms are usually short, but if they're not, there are some things that you can do to prepare for these rainy days. But before we get into the video, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Allison, and here at my channel, you can find tips for traveling with families, as well as Disney World content and vlogs from our trips. So first things first, if you are in the park and it starts raining, just keep going. Put on your poncho, put on your rain jacket, get your umbrella out, and keep going. Because you know what? Majority of people are going to be going to eat, going to the inside shows, doing things that the crowd is going to. So if you can brave the weather, put on your poncho and continue riding the rides. I mean, obviously, if it's really bad storming, they might close some of the outdoor attractions. But if it's just a light rain, sometimes they don't. So now is the time to head over to those bigger rides, and you're gonna find some low wait times. It's also a good time to look at your lightning lane selections. You might be able to snag a few because people are kind of slowing down on their selections because the rain has started. So that is really my tip for if you are in the park. Obviously, if it's a huge storm and they're closing things down, now might be a time for an inside show or a break. If you are in Magic Kingdom, you can take the chance to go over to some of the monorail resorts, go get something to eat there where there's lesser crowds. Just walk around for a little bit, take a loop around the monorail, do something like that that's a little bit outside of what the rest of the crowds are doing. Now, if you are outside of the park, if it's a rest day or you left the park for the day and you're gone for the evening and it's stormy and rainy, now is the perfect time to go resort hopping. So I love resort hopping anytime, but especially when it's a little bit rainy. Now is the perfect time to do that. You're not going to be at the pool, you're not going to be going to the water park. So now is the time to just go check out some of the resorts that you've really been wanting to go see. So obviously, depending on where you're staying, these are going to be, you can go on the monorail. If you're staying at a monorail resort, you might wind up having to take a bus to a park to get on another bus to go to a resort. So let's say you're staying at All-Star Sports and you want to go check out Grand Floridian and you're having a rest day. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the bus from All-Star Sports to Magic Kingdom and then either get on the boat or the monorail to Grand Floridian. Now you have to be careful here because sometimes in bad weather, the Skyliner is going to stop running. So you need to make sure what your plan is. You're checking the My Disney Experience app or the Disney World website, or even like your TV on in your resort to see if there's any closures due to weather. So if you are staying in a Skyliner resort and the Skyliner's closed, they will now have buses running to EPCOT and Hollywood Studios. So if that's the case, you can take a bus either to Hollywood Studios or EPCOT and then take another resort bus to wherever it is you want to go. And that's the same kind of thing where if you're staying at an All-Stars or wherever else and you want to go check out the Riviera or something like that, you wouldn't be able to take the Skyliner. So what you can do is, again, take a bus to EPCOT and then take a bus from EPCOT to the Riviera. Another option, if it's a rainy day, is to go see a movie in Disney Springs. Some people don't realize that Disney Springs has a full-blown movie theater and you can go check out a movie if it's bad weather or really anytime if you're looking for something to do. There's also the bowling alley in Disney Springs as well, where you can spend a lot of time. So there are some indoor activities that they do have for rainy weather. So now that we talked about where to go and what to do, we really should talk about rain gear and what you need to keep yourself dry. So obviously, you might want to bring an umbrella with you, especially if you're going during hurricane season or the rainy season. And this one in particular, I really like because as you can see, it's actually also a UPF umbrella. I believe it's UPF 50, which is really great. So especially if you're going during the summer, this can act as a sun umbrella as well as a rain umbrella. And I actually use this quite a bit, especially in Disney Springs the last time we were there. But I can see, during the day, if you are on an outside line in the heat of the summer, just popping this open just to get yourself out of the sun, that little bit of shade really does do wonders. So this is, and it's, a small little umbrella. You can have it in a crossbody, a backpack, whatever you're taking with you onto the ride. This is a great little umbrella to have. So another item that I like to bring with me is one of these waterproof blankets. It's not like a blanket, it's more kind of like a picnic blanket. It comes in this nice little pouch. It's perfect for traveling. And what I love about it, it's a really big size, and you can use it, after it's just rained, if you want to put it on a bench or on the grass, or you could even put it on like a ride, if it's just stopped raining and they just opened up like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and it's wet, the seats are wet, you can put this on the seat. It opens up nice and big. Another layer. I'm gonna put that out. Really nice and big, so you and another person can very easily sit on this on the ride, or you could even use it if you want to sit down and wait for the parade or the fireworks and you don't want to sit on the dirty sidewalk. This works great for that, but it is fully waterproof, so it really works well after a rainstorm and you want to sit down and maybe you don't have the type of poncho that covers your whole bottom and you don't want to sit down and get wet. This really comes in handy. And again, it comes in that nice little pouch that you can easily throw in a bag, or it even has like the string that you can clip it to the outside of your bag, or a smaller bag, or even like a pant buckle or something if you don't have a bag with you. But it really works out great. So obviously you're going to want to bring ponchos or raincoats with you. Now, people differ on their opinion on whether you should have ponchos or raincoats. I haven't tried an actual raincoat yet, and I think next time we are going to try that. I've always just done ponchos, and especially with this last trip, we went at the end of September, and it wasn't the brunt of summer, which, it leads me to even believe this even more, is that, how sticky it gets after it rains, and it's still so humid, and it's gonna rain again, so you don't want to take it off right away, but it's so sticky, and it just like sticks to you. I think, a light raincoat, that type of material might do a little bit better with that. It also lasts longer. So I think I'm going to look into, some travel raincoats that kind of like scrunch down into a nice little pouch. If anybody watching has one of those and has a recommendation, definitely leave it down in the comments, because I am looking for a raincoat like that, a nice travel size raincoat for everybody, for me, my husband, and my kids. I think that would be a really great addition to our rain gear. Now, also, if you have a stroller with you, if you have a baby or a toddler, you're going to want to keep them dry, and not only them dry, but you're going to want to keep your stroller dry, because let's face it, these strollers, they cost a lot of money. We don't want them to get soaked. We also don't want it to start raining when we're in a ride or attraction, and then we come back and have to put baby or toddler in a wet seat. Nobody wants that. Get a stroller rain cover. So the one that I have, it's a little bit different than other ones that I've seen, because it has a piece on it that's a little bit hard. Here, let me take it out. But it fits really nicely into this wet bag, which I definitely recommend having a wet bag, especially if you have ponchos that don't have their own little carry case. Definitely get a wet bag and just shove those ponchos in there. You don't want to get anything else wet in your bag. But anyway, this stroller rain cover I really like, because if I can get it out, because it has this little bit of a harder piece here in the front, because this piece fits over your stroller, and then what you can do is you can actually unzip this part of the rain cover and have it come up over the top. so that if it is one of those rainy days where it's on and off raining and it's getting so annoying having to put the rain cover back on the stroller, off the stroller, on the stroller, this can actually stay on it, and you can unzip the front part so that your child has some nice fresh air, because I mean, it can get really hot under these rain covers in the stroller. So be aware of that. You also might want to have one of those stroller fans, which you really should have anyway if you're going to be there, especially in the summer because it's so hot. But making sure you run that fan in here while your child is under the rain cover, it will give them some nice flow of air, because it can get really hot and stuffy in there. But anyway, this opens up so that they have the fresh air here. There's also side pieces here that open for ventilation. You can close them if it's like really raining hard. You can close these up, but it gives some nice airflow for your child while they're in there. Now, the downside about that kind with the harder piece is that you can't just like crunch it up and stick it in a wet bag. You do have to kind of like fold it in so that it fits into the wet bag. But I love it so much that it doesn't bother me. And sometimes if rain is really in the forecast for all day, I just kind of keep it on the stroller. Like I kind of pull the whole thing up and kind of keep it like draped over the handlebars, because it is such a pain having to try to put it in and out of the wet bag. So I just kind of keep it on the handlebars, and just, it doesn't really get in the way too much, while you're pushing it, but it makes it a lot easier to just cover it up if it starts raining again. And don't forget that when you have your child in the stroller with the rain cover on, you're also going to want to have a poncho or a rain jacket for them to use when you come out of the stroller. Sometimes people forget, like, oh, I have them covered, I have the stroller, whatever. But then when it's raining and you're parked and you want to go into a restaurant or a ride or whatever, and you have to take them out of the stroller, they need to have rain coverage as well. You don't need to have it on them, while they're underneath the stroller cover, but you need to have it ready to put on them as soon as the cover comes off and you're gonna go where you need to go. And also, speaking about strollers, if you are renting a Disney stroller, like we have the stroller that we bring for my 3-year-old, but then we also rent a stroller for my 8-year-old, one of the Disney strollers, the plastic ones. So I was not about to go and buy another stroller cover just for that. So what I do is I actually get an extra poncho. Now this could be a very cheap Dollar Tree poncho, because all you're using it for is actually just covering the seat. So what you're going to do is when you stop at a ride or attraction, you're going to put this poncho over the seat area so that if it rains while you're in there, the seat doesn't get all wet. Just keep in mind that your child is going to need rain cover in the stroller, and that's actually where those waterproof blankets can also come in handy. If it's really raining hard, your child has a poncho on, but their feet are still open wide into the rain and the rain is just pouring right on it, you can go ahead and put that waterproof blanket right over their lap so that that rain is not getting their shoes all wet, and you know how it is. And you could put that waterproof blanket over the over the seat as well. But honestly, I prefer to save that for, if we really need to put it down on something wet, because once it does get wet, it's not really going to dry when it's back in that pouch. So I tend to save that for times when it's like, oh, like I really need to like put this down to sit on so that we don't get wet, or have it over my child, when we really need it. It's more of like an emergency type thing. And then I have the cheap poncho to put over the stroller every time. And then I also probably wouldn't want to leave it in the stroller like that, just in case it gets taken. Things do happen, but nobody's gonna take an old poncho that's just like covering the seat. So in conclusion of this whole video, my whole point is, don't let the rain stop you. Don't let it stop you. This is your vacation. You're in Disney World. Don't let the rain stop you. Just come prepared and you will be fine. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. And until next time.